Yes, the bank that closed me out was Coutts. Now they say they've offered me a NatWest account. That wasn't until late on Thursday night, after I'd blown the story out there, which said that then 7 other banks had refused me. That is now 9 other banks that have refused me. They're telling the press I don't meet their wealth threshold. Well, they've never mentioned that before in the previous 10 years. The worst of the story is they denied to me on the phone on Friday that I was a PEP, a politically exposed person. That's the reason nobody else will have me, and Coutts are, frankly, being very, very dishonest indeed.
That's Nigel Farage, who, as you can see, is now on the war path, as he ought to be, against woke banks. Farage, the guiding force behind the successful Brexit campaign, was one of the latest and perhaps the most prominent victims of a very disturbing trend. And that, of course, is the recent rise in the practice of debanking, the latest morbid manifestation of woke cancel culture. Just days back, Farage announced that his Coutts bank account of over 40 years had been closed against his will without any real explanation. As you just saw, Farage went on to claim that 9 other banks have refused to open an account with him. Now, true to form, right on schedule, the ultra-woke legacy media ran cover for the bank. The BBC claimed that the bank's decision to close Farage's account was commercial, not ideological, and that's because he didn't have enough money in the account to meet the elite bank's wealth threshold, as they call it. The problem here is that Nigel's got the receipts. He showed that his wealth levels, as they're called, have never been a problem before for Coutts, and to make matters worse, the BBC had to admit that plenty of other Coutts customers were able to keep their accounts even though they fell below the wealth threshold. So as things stand, like with Tucker Carlson's firing, we simply don't know why precisely Nigel Farage's account was closed. But what we certainly do know is that he's hardly the only one who's experienced this. As it turns out, an increasing number of political conservatives are reporting that they've been experiencing precisely this kind of debanking. In fact, things are so bad that just one bank, JPMorgan Chase, has been accused by 19 Republican states of canceling the bank accounts of members of conservative or religious groups. For example, Senator Sam Brownback's National Committee for Religious Freedom, they were expelled from Chase Bank. In fact, Chase Bank apparently demanded a list of their donors as a condition to have their account reinstated. And at the heart of this debanking is none other than what's called ESG, which stands for environmental, social, and governance policies, which is functioning like a new kind of social credit system comparable to the Chinese system that's being imposed on businesses like companies like BlackRock and the WEF, the World Economic Forum. In fact, ESG standards are so sinister that Elon Musk recently remarked that the S in ESG stands for satanic. And the key concern here is that the social credit system for businesses, the concern is that they would inevitably end up paving the way for a future where individual consumers face similar scrutiny. And that's precisely what we're seeing with debanking. Debanking is now punishing, openly excluding individual consumers whose political views run contrary to the goals of ESG, as well as DEI and a whole host of other woke nonsense. But the amazing news here is that patriots are rising up and fighting back. There is a massive backlash against debanking that's going to absolutely inspire you to rise up as well. And one of the most important areas of protest, where patriots are deliberately taking their money out of these woke banks, is in the massive buying spree going on currently with gold and silver. We saw this right after the Silicon Valley Bank collapse, where more and more investors began moving their money back to the timeless value of gold and silver. And we've got amazing friends to this channel who can help you do just that. We've partnered with the top-rated precious metals company, Goldco, who've helped patriots across the nation move over $1 billion into gold and silver. You heard that right, $1 billion. They're absolutely amazing. Click on that link below. And for those with retirement accounts, the patriots over at Goldco are offering up to $10,000 in free silver when opening up a qualified IRA account. And for cash buyers, you're going to love this. You can get bonus silver just for making a purchase. So if you buy $15,000 worth of precious metals, you're going to get $750 in bonus silver. If you buy $25,000, you're going to get over $1,200 worth of bonus silver. But that's only as long as supplies last. So don't wait. Click on that link below. This is your opportunity to protect yourself from our out-of-control government, from all of this debanking, by guarding your assets and what Patriots have invested in for centuries, the timeless value of gold and silver. So click on that link below right now. But it's not just the surge in gold and silver. We're now seeing the rise of parallel banks as well. And these are banks that are openly positioning themselves against ESG. A recent study found that 68% of all banks had incorporated ESG criteria into their policies, including lending standards. And so these parallel banks are coming out and saying, no ESG here. Your money, your investments are safe with us. In fact, conservative banks, banks that pledge to their customers protection from woke debanking and ESG, are actually a bit of the rage right now. One of the most prominent of these banks to emerge recently is called Old Glory Bank. You may have heard of them. They're a conservative Oklahoma-based bank that was launched by Ben Carson, Larry Elder, and country music legend John Rich. And they're absolutely huge, according to actually a recent regulatory filing. They've amassed hundreds of millions of dollars in assets. So they're obviously connecting big time with a massive sea of customers. And now they're even offering a PayPal alternative, a conservative, woke-free payment app. Check it out.
You may have heard stories recently about payment apps withholding someone's funds out of the blue, simply because they don't like their politics. To a billion-dollar company, that's nothing. But to you, that money is everything, and you're at their mercy. That's why we created Old Glory Pay. Make payments to others in Old Glory Nation without worrying about it. Old Glory Pay, private, secure, and worry-free.
And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention what appears to be the utterly unstoppable revolution in money. And that, of course, is cryptocurrency, which has proven to be astonishingly resilient amidst all of the attempts at killing it. In fact, Bitcoin and Ethereum have been surging of late as their popularity continues to expand globally. And of course, with cryptocurrencies, banks are rendered totally irrelevant. There's in fact a movement today known as going bankless, where more and more people are putting their money in decentralized financial technologies that have largely rendered the old banking system completely unnecessary. And the beauty is that the more woke banks get, the faster these bankless processes are going to happen. So while debanking continues to be growing and a very disturbing trend, the good news is that the backlash against woke banks is huge. And in many ways, it's just beginning. Hey gang, I know what it's like to feel alone out there in these turbulent times, but I broke free. If you too have been looking for a community with like-minded patriots who are serious about resisting globalism, building a parallel economy, and having intelligent and deep fellowship on a regular basis, then you've come to the right place. In my Courageous Patriot Insiders community, we're building a close-knit movement of, by, and for patriots who are breaking free from the outrage and despair cycles of the mainstream media and taking on the fight against globalism. Every week, I deep dive into the content I can't share on big tech and give you the cliff notes on the truth of how patriots just like you are building up their communities, starting patriot businesses, and fighting the woke in both public and private. All with a few history and political lessons from yours truly, of course. If you want to stop feeling alone as a patriot and stand together with this fast-growing community, be sure to click on the link in the description below. Don't wait. Join me and my Patriot Coalition today, and let's get fighting.